actually weird for me to cycle like this, as it feels like as if I would be for the first time of my whole life on a bicycle when I go like this. You know, it's just wobbling and shaking. I need the heavy luggage actually. I actually need the heavy luggage to feel safe and wait, where is it? My name is Niels Pelech.
Okay, so you drove, you cycled on your bike from Mozambique to Cape Town?
Yes, so I started in April this year, and which has been now like half a year, and took me like 7,500 kilometers to go from Mozambique to here. So first I spent 1 month in Eswatini, as my friend and me needed to leave Mozambique quite fast, because his visa was expired when we met in Maputo. So he was already on his way for since July 2020, and he was on his way from Berlin to China, and he was stuck in Georgia, which is between Turkey and Russia, due COVID. And must have been like August 2021, when somebody asked him, well, why you're not going to somewhere where the rules and regulations are a little bit less harsh. So he decided to take the airplane to Uganda, and that day when he told me that he was traveling to Africa, I decided immediately to join him. So he went from Uganda over Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi to Maputo, Mozambique, where we met in April, and then we went through Eswatini 1 month, Mozambique 1 month along the seaside to Praia de Belém, and then we went along the river Limpopo to Zimbabwe, Zango border, Shirezi, Renko, Mashwingo, Sishavane, Bulawayo, Havangi, up to Vic Falls. Then we went to Zambia. Unfortunately, just a couple of days, like 4 or 5 days or something. We went to Livingstone. Then we entered Botswana over Kasungula border, and we went to Nata over Pandamatenga. And then we discovered the salt pans, went to Maun, from there to Khansi. So we entered the Kalahari Desert, which was awesome, really awesome. But Botswana was fantastic, as we had a really fast ride. It just took us 2 weeks to cross this country, the 1,200 kilometers. We were really fast. Partly in Khansi we had our record, which was like 100 kilometers in 3.5 hours, as we had a strong tailwind for the whole time. And so then from Khansi we went to Namibia over Hubalis, and from there we went to Windhoek. Over Spitzkuppe to Hensch's Bay, Swakopmund, Walvis Bay, through the Namib Desert, to Solitaire, Sesrim, and where else have we been? We went from there to Maltahoe, Aus, Lüderitz, we saw Kolmanskop, and then we entered over, Fjolsdrift, to South Africa. We passed Steinkopf, Springbok, and then in Clerkenwilliam we left the N7 to not Lambert's Bay, but south of Lambert's Bay. We went along the seaside to Cape Town and
to Eland's Bay. and deciding the route between going through Botswana and South Africa East Coast. Well, what made you decide which route you're going to take to get to Cape Town?
That's a good question. It was more or less Jan's decision actually, as he was traveling Africa before, and I mean there's a big difference between South Africa and the rest of Africa. As the rest of Africa is actually more deep, traditional, black, real, Africa, and so we came that one day over the border of Komati Port. We arrived late at night, and first strange impression was that a car was following us, a police car, as long as we were entering the city with the lights on, and it was already slightly hectic. And we arrived late in Komati Port. The lights were all out, and we asked random guy whether we can put our tent somewhere. And the atmosphere was not nice. He was just like get lost or something. And I mean, in Mozambique, usually the people are like, "Hey, come to my place," or "Feel free, you can put your tent here or there," or whatever. And so Jan, he didn't like it too much over there. Immediately he was listening to his tummy, to his inner voice, telling him, "Well, better to leave that place." And we just spent two days in that area. South of Kruger National Park, and we went to Eswatini first. For me, also to get used to Africa a little bit, and Jan was for the whole journey so amazed about Mozambique, and as I didn't saw so much of Mozambique, we took the chance to ride for a whole month in Mozambique along the seaside.
And what modifications did you need to do to the bicycle?
Modifications to the bicycle? Well, the bicycle is actually made for made to last, or built to last. Yeah, as it's not a Ferrari. It's more like a MAN truck. It's not a stallion, but a donkey. It doesn't necessarily look nice, but it's really reliable. This bike. So it's a proper steel frame. It's a custom bike, and so it's from Leipzig in Germany. The company is Rotor Bikes. I can just recommend it. It's a small garage actually. They were really fast with building up the whole bike, and what is special about the bike for the journey? So it's the steel frame. If anything gets broken, you can usually repair it easily. As most of the cities have welders, they can weld the steel, and aluminium is difficult to repair. Also, it's more flexible, as aluminium is quite stiff as a material, which is more comfortable along the way. So what's important for a bike like this? It needs to be comfortable, so the seat needs to be comfortable.
That's very important.
Yeah.
Is there a special, what kind of seat is that?
Sponge in it. It's SQ-Lab. It's also a German brand. And the handlebar is also important to change the positions from time to time, you know.
Exactly. And you got your crocodile.
Oh, that's from Maputo, Mozambique. I could not resist to buy that one. That's for the adults here, and this for the children. To get laughter along the way. It's absolutely amazing to see people smiling when you make like this, and everybody's laughing. It's so nice along the way. Yeah, and of course the bike needs to be able to carry heavy luggage. So I just don't have those bags. I also have.
Is that why you don't have? Is that why you don't have suspension on here?
I also have this bag here, usually, and it's quite naked right now.
So how much extra weight are you adding to this bike here?
This bag, I have here my tent usually, and the bike itself, it's like 25. With the luggage, it's like 60, depends, can go up to 80 or something. For example, when we cycled from Walvis Bay to Solitaire, we had for 250 kilometers no tap, so we were carrying up to 18 liters of water per bike, and yeah, the food, I don't know, was also maybe something in between 5 and 10 kilos, I guess, as the population in Namibia is not so much, and there are barely opportunities to go shopping in the Namib Desert, so we were quite prepared for the worst case. I think like 80 to 90 kilo all in all. I'm 75, so 165 in total, maybe 170, 160, something in between, which would be the maximum. And yeah.
You still managed 100 kilometers in 3.5 hours with all that weight.
Yeah, tailwind.
Oh, the tailwind.
Yeah, the tailwind is nice. I mean, a lot of people are concerned about the weight, but it's not so bad actually. It also has the advantages when you go downhill, for example. Gravity comes through.
So you can do 100 on this bike downhill probably.
Not 100, but in Eswatini it was something in between 70 and 80, and you really need to take care then. Yeah.
And tires are obviously very important, the roads you were going on?
Yeah, so the tires are from Schwalbe, and they are made actually for all different kind of occasions. They are Schwalbe Marathon Mondial. A lot of people who do the same stuff like I do have those tires. They have, how to say it, this goes through here, this part, and here you have a little bit more surface.
Like an all-terrain tire?
Yeah, something like this.
Any punctures?
Yeah, plenty, but it's normal, you get used to it. And yeah, so I have 26, this is the size of the wheels. The spokes, they have extra here, extra material, so they are more stiff, more stable. They have also, this is a special rim. It's coated with like something like ceramic, so that the brake shoes doesn't ruin the rim too much. That will last for also hopefully forever. We will see, nothing is forever, but as you can see that the ocean's already working slightly here on the material.
And you got a fire extinguisher?
No, it's actually for stove. It's yeah, we have a multi-fuel stove, and which runs with benzene.
Okay.
As you barely get gas along the way, but fuel is always available. So we have a multi-fuel stove, and yeah, so we cook with petrol usually. And this is not a battery. As many people are asking, this is not a battery. It's this is the lock.
It's a solid lock.
Yeah, safety first. It's a golden rule to lock the bike each night, as it's like the horse to a cowboy.
And starting out on the trip, you must have been maybe intrigued about the safety element. How did you find traveling on a bicycle all that distance?
Come again,
in
please?
terms of crime, people obviously associate Africa with crime sometimes. What was your experience?
Yeah, it's crazy. Especially in Europe and Germany, people always say, hey, it's dangerous, it's dangerous. But after all, I cannot agree with that at all. I mean, South Africa is different, as I mentioned, but the rest of the countries, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, are most peaceful people from my perception. And I think as I was traveling quite open, as you can see, not like in the car, hidden, like imprisoned, I had quite a deep or a close connection or relationship to most of the people, and actually I always felt safe. And stealing is not really in the mind of an average African person, I would say, as most of the communities are small, you know, where the people are living in their communities, in the tribes. Stealing is really not in their mind if somebody's caught stealing, they are just out of the society, so nobody does it usually. And Of course, some people are poor, but usually when they see us, they just ask for small money, and yeah, we say no. We cannot afford it, or I cannot afford it, as I'm living from my savings, you know, and either I pay everybody or nobody. So it's obvious. As I wanted to go as long as possible from my savings. Yeah.
And which was your favorite piece of road to ride on?
On Champions Peak was really nice, but it's of course it's something else. I had tears in my eyes in Kalahari Desert. That was to see this vast land, like nothing, and the animals, elephants, rhinos, having speed races with ostrich along the road. Yeah, that was freedom from my point of view. Yeah.
Coming from Germany with a quite controlled environment.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, in Germany we have zoos, you know, where you keep the animals in controlled conditions. And in Africa for us it was vice versa actually, as we lived sometimes in cages and the animals were around us. For example, in Botswana, when we took the way to Nata, to the salt pen, to Sua's salt pen, there was like 7 or something, and there were some street workers, or how to say, they were constructing the road, and they stopped us. Hey, where are you going? Said Nata. Hey, you will be late. There are lions everywhere around, and we said, oh, it's fine. We will make it somehow. Don't mind. But they were insisting. You know, they really cared about our security, so they made us stop, turn around, go to the next antenna, or how you call it, like those towers, you know, and there was this fence around. So they made us going there and to ask the people who are working there if we can sleep overnight, and they opened the door, and we slept there in the cage, and we heard late at night the lions roaring. And so yeah, it's really different in Africa. You have nature and some people, and in Germany, where I'm from especially, you have people and just small nature left. It's really a big difference.
What advice would you give to somebody who wants to do a trip like you've done?
Just don't think too much. Just do it. It's just this one life you have, and your mind is tricky, you know. You always have fear of something, and your mind tries to give the fear space to keep you off from certain threats or dangers or whatever. Will I be ever able to find a job again if I will stay for a full year away, and all that kind of stuff. The dangerous animals and people who try to no, leave it. Just go for it, and the biggest journey just starts with a single step, and get a bike, get a proper bike, and don't think too much. Yeah, you just need to carry some luggage, and I can really recommend you Adrian. I don't know if you met him, but he's living really close here to the Saltwater Enviro Center, and he's building those bags.
Nice.
These
are waterproof.
These are waterproof. Yeah, these are waterproof bags. And then Adrian builds those kind of bags with material which he finds along the beach or at the caravan park, and he made them by himself, and they are almost the same like this actually. I can show you a picture maybe. So if you cannot afford to buy something like this, maybe you can ask around in the neighborhood if somebody can knit you some bags. But yeah, to have a tent, a sleeping bag, the air mattress for sleeping, it's important. For hygiene, you don't need too much. soap, toothbrush, cloth, maybe it should be fine. What you really need to have is spare parts and tools. If the bike's getting broken, this is also the idea of this bike, that all the parts should last as long as possible and also need to be able to replace as easy as possible, so it's low tech. So prepare yourself for having everything with you what you need for repairing the bike, for any kind of accidents. Yeah, water. I'm carrying a lot of water with me. So here I have a bottle, there's a bottle, here's a bottle, there's a bottle, there's a bottle.
And these are 2 liter.
Yeah.
So that 2, 4, 6, 8 there just alone.
And yeah, maybe you need a stove
Yeah.
and a pot and a pan and spoon and a cup
And a sense of adventure.
for eating. But yeah, you can also do it without, so you will survive somehow just with bread and peanut butter. And this is very practical. This is a 10-liter bag for carrying water. This is nice to have, so I can hang up this in the tree somewhere. And
You could even have a little shower.
they're fitting like 10 liters inside, and
Yeah.
so I can open this valve and have a shower somewhere in the middle of the desert if I find a nice candlethorn tree where I can hang it up. Yeah,
And that's probably why you don't have any suspension. You want to keep it as simple as possible.
yeah, suspensions can break.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is why I don't have suspension. And your ass is getting used to it after a while. It's just a piece of leather left here.
But extra leather.
Doesn't kill you, just makes you stronger. Yeah.
And the light is this is a German light?
Yeah, it's Sohn. It's the name. Yeah, as you can see, made in Germany. Actually, I wanted to write on it before I left Germany, not made in China. So most of these parts are from Germany or from Europe at least. And yeah, it's a German brand. It's there's a dynamo here in front, here, which provides me light during the day, but it just goes and goes.
And the driving in Africa, how did that take a bit of getting used to?
It was not so hectic actually. Just in Windhoek, around Windhoek, or before Windhoek, it was a little bit hectic. Trucks came quite close sometimes, so I needed to wear a helmet. At least I had this occasion for wearing the helmet. Most of the time it was just somewhere at the bike, and yeah, Cape Town was also a little bit hectic, but
Yeah.
usually people have in the poorer countries, they have barely cars usually.
Yeah.
Especially in Zimbabwe. Some people had small cars. They call it a cargo over there. Small second-hand Japanese or Chinese cars, and they share it with up to 8 people or something. Yeah, in those countries like Zimbabwe, Mozambique, Botswana, you have mainly trucks on the road, barely private traffic.
And did you stick to the highways, or did you go explore some back roads?
Yeah, hard to say. Usually there was for us just one way. In Europe you have way more distractions or opportunities where to go. Usually we just followed the main roads. I mean, yeah, in Namibia, in the desert, we had some choices. We needed to leave out. Actually, there are some streets which we wanted to take, which would have taken us through the really rural areas to the. But we could not take them as they were in too bad condition actually.
Yeah.
So we just tried to avoid the too bad
Yeah.
roads, and we didn't look for special roads actually. This was it.
So with all this weight, you're going to pick up more punctures.
Yeah, the sand was really difficult
Yeah.
in Namibia, and I mean from Walvis Bay to Solitaire was rough enough, and there were some other roads. It was from Sesrim to Aus. There was a way what we actually wanted to take. But in Malta, there was somebody who recommended us to take another way, a detour actually, but the path would have been better. So this way actually didn't cost us more time, saved us time actually to go that detour. It was a Belgian guy who came with his 4x4 from Belgium all along the west coast. Of Africa to Namibia. He was quite experienced, so it's good to have people along the way who give you a certain kind of recommendations, and you meet so many people, and everybody is seeking for having contact with you as you recognized like as a painted dog with a bicycle like this in the middle of the desert or in Africa, and you make a lot of contacts. It's so nice not to plan everything and to take things as they come along the way, and also to interact with people. It's good. It's really nice, beautiful experience.
Did you see any other cyclists doing what you're doing?
Yeah, we even we were even a small family. Sometimes we in Namibia in Sesrim we met a French guy on the middle of on the top of Big Daddy Dune, which is I think like one of the biggest dunes of the whole world. So we stayed in Sesrim in front of the national park, and we wanted to see Sossusvlei, and that Vlei, which is like 60 kilometers away from the gate of the national park, and everybody was recommending us to go as early as possible as the gates are opening at like 7 o'clock to be there in that Vlei when the sun is maybe not too hot, and then to go back by noon. So we left the bicycles at the gate with the securities. And we got a lift by a German couple who took us to Deadman's Vlei, or to that Vlei. And yeah, when we were there, they just decided, well, okay, you do your thing, we do our thing. It was nice meeting you.
And you had to walk back.
It was a little bit shocking, you know, as we didn't thought about that before. But yeah, they wanted to have their own time, their private time, and we said, well, okay, we will find an opportunity. We were not the only tourists there, of course.
Yeah.
So that Vlei was full of people actually, and we were spending a lot of time on the top of big what was the name, Big Daddy?
Yeah.
Big Daddy Dune, as it was not so hot actually, like we were expecting. Was a cool, windy, slightly cloudy day, and we just enjoyed for at least 1 hour, maximum 2 hours. I think the view from there, from the top, when this French guy showed up. His name is Arnaud. He was like desperately wandering around, and we recognized that suddenly the whole Deadman Vlei was empty. There was nobody anymore, and we got slightly concerned what to do. And we asked this guy how to come back, whether he can give us a lift or not. And he had the same problem like us. So we were looking together, and we were going down, sitting under a tree somewhere, and waiting for some people. And we found another German couple who took us back to Sesrim, and from then we cycled together.
How far was that? Did you have to from the car park to the dune?
It was like 60 kilometers.
And they just left you, the other couple.
Yeah.
So that must be quite scary.
Yeah, it was shocking. Yeah. For the first time, you realize, okay, I'm here. There's nobody anymore. I'm 60 kilometers away from the gate.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people were late with entering the
Yeah.
park, and we got a lift from them. Yeah, it was shocking at the moment. But this is, this is what really stuck in my mind after all. That everything will be fine
Yeah.
after all. Somewhere there's always a solution somehow, and most people overthink things, which keeps them off from being happy, from being lucky, from reaching their dreams. And if you stop thinking too much and just rely on faith, everything will be fine by the end. And yeah, in that moment we found a beautiful friend, and even though he's already in France back again, we are still chatting a lot. And I guess we also are going to ride someday again together. And yeah, next day we went with him to Malta Höhe, and that day one spoke after another of his rear wheel broke. It was crazy. Then but we could make it to Malta Höhe. We found a garage over there, and the guy, the owner of the garage, was so kind to help us out, even though he was not focused on bicycles at all. But there was a bicycle laying around somewhere on his yard, and he took all the spokes off, and it was like really short spokes, and he welded like 3 spokes together for a single spoke. And I mean, the wheel was like at the end, close before getting to Malta Höhe, was like this, the wheel, and it was at least was straight after all. And it took him maybe like 2 hours to repair the back wheel. And we just wanted to leave the place until we figured out that the derailleur got broke somehow. We didn't know how, and we left the place and we tried to fix the derailleur for 2 or 3 hours, and we could not manage it somehow. So later that day we went to a supermarket, and we saw him again. This guy Jan Burger from Malta Höhe, great guy, and yeah, he felt really sorry for that accident, and he was so kind to invite us to his place. We slept at his place, and he took Arnaud, our French friend, to Windhoek, as he needed to go to Windhoek the next day. And Arnaud got his bike repaired in Windhoek, and just a couple of weeks later, we met him again in Springbok. And also in Springbok, we got to know the same, like one day before, a Swiss couple who was also traveling for 2 years now, all over Africa. Same way like Jan went from Uganda over Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi, but then to Zambia, Botswana, Namibia, and from Springbok on we were with 5 people. It was so awesome. We were a big family. It was really nice having a bonfire each night, and amazing time.
So you meet more people when you're on the bicycle.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
It's more real.
Yeah. For me, traveling in a car or even in a plane, it's like being in a prison. You're locked. You're not free. You don't have any kind of contact to the environment. You cannot feel the air. You don't feel the wind, smell anything, what's outside, what's around you, and you don't feel the sun. You don't listen to the birds when you are in the car, and also the perception is totally different from car drivers. I mean, for example, when we went from Walvis Bay to Solitaire, everybody told us, yeah, the road is easy. The road is easy. They didn't have in their mind that it's going uphill.
Yeah.
1,000 meters.
With this weight.
Yeah, and that's not so easy.
On
especially
gravel.
Not on gravel, and Also not in sand road. And
So you have to drop tire pressure, I'd imagine.
yeah. To 2 or 3 bars. We came from 5 bar to 2 or 3 bars, and also they said, but the landscape, it's boring. Forget it.
Yeah.
It's really just nothing special. Nobody told us about Quisip Canyon, for example, or Gaub Canyon. It was mind-blowing, those landscapes, even though it was just for 20 kilometers, like Quisip Canyon or Gaub Canyon. But those, to experience this on the bicycle, it's really different compared to a car. When you just pass it with 100 kilometers per hour or something, you're quite fast through it, and then it's done. But yeah, it's different by bike.